Hi guys, Jan here. In the 3D quick tip video, I will show you how to create a chain in Maya. It used to be pretty tricky, but right now with the mesh integration since Maya 2016, it's pretty simple and we can do it in a fully procedural way, which is quite fancy today, right? So let's start. Let me create a new scene and we'll start from scratch. First of all, just be sure that you have a mesh loaded into your Maya. So if you go to plugins and search for mesh, just enable these so you can be sure that you have everything loaded, and switch modeling to effects and it will add the menu in here, and you also have a shelf. Now let's start with a very simple chain link which will be based on a torus. Let's make it 8 by 8 subdivision so it will be pretty light at the end. Just notice that I'm moving the components instead of an object. In that case, the pivot will stay in the origin, which will be crucial at the end, but we'll get to it soon. So let's just mirror that, z-axis, connect these, connect these. Let's make an extra edge over there. Just to let you know, I'm often using marking menus, just shift and right click for the different tools, or control and command right click for converting selection or splitting edge rings and stuff like that. So this is our simple chain link. I think that's enough. We don't need anything fancy for now. Let me just soften the edges. It's a good idea to make a UVs for that right now, because as we will duplicate it several times, we will already have UVs for all the pieces already prepared. And once you are duplicating something, it's always better to make the UVs first, because if you don't do that, you will end up with duplicating UVs onto multiple pieces or whatsoever. So it's always a great idea to start with the UVs with a single object. Okay, so we have a chain link, which is awesome. Chain link. And we need a curve to duplicate our chain link on. So let's make a simple curve. Let's modify it a bit so we have a bit more dimensions, a bit more stuff happening. Okay, let me hide the grid so we see what's going on. The chain link is now a bit too big, so let's scale it down a bit. Just notice that I'm doing everything on components. In that case, my transforms will stay the same. Okay, and right now it's time to make the chain. So let's start with the chain itself. Select the link and create a mesh network, and I will also open the mesh editor so we know what's actually going on. Mesh is creating points and duplicating or instancing an object on those points. We cannot see those points right now, but doesn't matter. You can just imagine that there is 1 point, 2nd point, 3rd point, 4th, etc. And we can later on swap the object to something else or add more objects to be duplicated, but that I will show you later. Well, let's start. Let's select the first node we have, which is the distribution, and you can see that we have number of points, we have offset, and we want the every second or every other to be rotated 90 degrees. We cannot do that in here in the distribute. If we do that with the rotate, everything rotates right now. You can try to twist it or whatever, but it's not twisted more than 360. It's something what resembles the chain, but it's not the properly procedural way. So we will do it procedural as we should. So let's make number of points just 1. And we will add a node called Replicator, which will give us a bit more options. Let's say we do like 10 replicants right now. And you can see that there is also an offset, but that doesn't matter for now. Let's just make it roughly like this, because later on we will distribute it along the curve. But what Replicator allows us is to do a pattern. And in the pattern, it says every second, and we want every second to be rotated 90 degrees. So this is kind of a better procedural way, right? We can add a little bit more stuff in here, but that's not necessary for our chain link. And we can add the curve right now. So let's add the curve on top, and we have our curve and middle mouse button and drag it to the list over here. And you can see that our chain is starting to be distributed along the curve. However, it's not following the curve 100%. And that's because, let me turn that off in here, that's because we already set an offset position in the replicator. What we want to do is to zero it out and add like, I don't know, for now we can add like 50 chain links. And all of those are stacked on top of each other right now. And if you turn on the curve, you can see that they are now following the curve as they should. Let me just tweak a few settings in here because that's obviously wrong. So let's change the animation speed to 0 because there is obviously no animation. And let's put the steps to 1, which means that it will start at the start of the curve and go all the way till the end. We can also ignore the step, which is similar thing, but with this we can animate that stuff. Let's add few more to fill in our curve. And let's say that's almost there. Like 275. Our orientation is definitely wrong and rotated 90 degrees. What we can do is add the transform mode in here and play with that, but that doesn't work 100%. Don't ask me why. I haven't found out why. So what I usually do is start to rotate the vertices until I hit the correct axis. And there is also another issue, that sometimes that curve just doesn't refresh. I think it should be like this. And let's also zero out the pattern because that confuses us a little bit right now. We'll rotate it later. Okay. So right now we hit the sweet spot and we can see that our chain is properly oriented. And now it's time, so this is right now correct. And it's time to put the pattern rotation back. And you can see that even if I change something in here, doesn't do anything. It's just not refreshing this node. So let's turn that curve off and rotate in the x-axis, obviously. Let's turn the curve on and ta-da, we have a chain. And right now we can play a bit more with the settings on a curve because you can see that those right now, that those are too close to each other. What you can do is to change the step to go over 1 to split them a bit, or we can change the number of replications. So even less, let's go for 200. Okay, that looks all right. And right now we have a chain, we can be like satisfied what we have and ta-da. But the proper proceduralism in this is that we can easily change the curve right now and everything follows. We can make a different curve, we can spread it out. If you change like the length of the curve, you can see that obviously those links are intersecting right now because we made it longer, so we need a bit more of them. Let's go for 250. However, there is no the end. Right now it looks quite 2CG, I would say. And we can add a little bit of randomization with the node called random. Right now you can see that it's probably too random, right? What we want is actually a bit more random rotation. In the y-axis, it's probably the best. We can add it into all axes just a tiny bit. We can also add it just a tiny bit to the position, and also the scale. You have to choose a uniform scale, otherwise our links will be super weird. And you can see that right now it looks almost similar, but there is a bit of a noise to those. Some of them will be off, but you can change the seed until your hero ones or those which will be visible in shot will be connected again, or you just simply reduce the rotation a bit, and you can see that the randomness quite helps. But right now it's time to show you the true procedural power of the mesh. Let's add another chain link. Let's make it 0.2, and let's add some detail to it. I will do some very sloppy modeling, like, sorry about that, very sloppy modeling, but it will be fast and it will do. So we have two chain links right now. Let me return that to its origin. And what we can do is to select the mesh, select this icon, which is the repro, and it has the object which is duplicated right now. If we middle drag and drop our second chain link, nothing happens. However, if we middle drag and drop it on top, it will be replaced. That's pretty cool, right? So you can set up your chain or beads on a necklace for the character, whatever, and then just play with the object. You can make a proxy with super simple meshes and swap that in here. You can even make a proxies in here. So what we want to do is actually make every third one the spiked one. You can see that there are two IDs, 0 and 1. So what we need to do is to add an ID node. You can see that every second one is spiked right now. If we will raise the number, you can see that every fourth is non-spiked. So that basically goes through the IDs and replicates that second one 3 times. If we select this again and swap these two, you can see that our every fourth is spiked one. So we can do whatever, every 9th, every 14th, whatever. And as it is still procedural, we can just edit this spike, remove it from one side, make it bigger on the other side, whatever. And it's still on top of the curve, so we can still edit the shape of the curve. Or we can just simply make a sphere or whatnot. Go here. remove that spiked one, put a sphere in there, and we have spheres. Scale that sphere a bit, and voila, we have a necklace or whatever. You can play with there are tons of other nodes in here. You can play with these. You can put like transform on top of this. You can transform all of them. It's like right now it's transforming all the points, but if we will move it underneath curve, it's scaling just the object before it was distributed on the curve. It's very, very versatile tool. I hope you enjoyed that and you found it interesting. Now you can see, yeah, this is pretty cool. Not bad, right? We are repeating like the non-spiked, sphere, spiked, whatever. You can play with this again. I hope you found it interesting. I will probably make a few more videos about how to use a mesh in assets, how to create details for your models like rivets, greebles, whatever, detailing, procedural detailing, because mesh is really powerful, not just for motion graphics as it is meant to be, but even for modeling. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss those videos. Share them if you like, and follow me on social media. I'm posting all my work in progress stuff and updates. See you soon, guys.